Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're joining us today, it's probably because you, like me, absolutely love a deep dive into incredible, focused narratives. Well, we have a really fantastic explainer lined up for you today. We're going to be looking closely at a literal masterclass in sheer determination. We're breaking down that brilliant Gatorand animated short film, Heart of a Lion. We're going to unpack this source material to explore a totally universal theme: how to overcome absolute, seemingly insurmountable obstacles through pure, sheer determination. And yeah, it's a story rooted in sports for sure, but the architecture of this narrative, it honestly applies to almost any monumental challenge you or I might face in life. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Every great journey of determination has to start with a massive roadblock, right? And this story kicks off with some genuinely devastating news. Just imagine hearing these words as a kid, right when your passion is just starting to take off. The source text gives it to us completely straight. A medical professional sits him down and says, "Leo, I'm sorry, you have a growth defect. Your body stopped growing." I mean, wow, that is a massive physical obstacle established at the very first tick of the narrative clock. The physical foundation you'd normally need to be a traditional athlete just completely stripped away. It really demands a profound level of empathy from the audience right from the jump. Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is the sheer scale of the central conflict we're dealing with. On one hand, you've got this uncompromising physical reality, a body that has literally stopped growing. But on the other hand, you have the immense, completely unquantifiable scale of mental ambition, a dream to chase. This contrast hits the nail on the head when it comes to the essence of sheer determination. Because think about it, physical limitations, they're finite, they're documented. But that mental drive acts as this limitless counterweight. The entire narrative engine of this story is basically running on the friction between these two completely opposing concepts. But, as our hero actually attempts to push past this physical limitation, the story shifts gears. It's not just about overcoming a biological hurdle anymore. The source material introduces a whole new layer of conflict that we can call designing the opposition. Because as we all know, when someone starts defying the odds, the world doesn't always just stand up and applaud. Sometimes it pushes back hard. The narrative introduces these external, intentionally manufactured forces. We're not talking about natural hurdles anymore. These are calculated, deliberate barriers constructed by critics and competitors, all with one singular goal: halting our hero's progress dead in its tracks. And this brilliantly illustrates the architecture of these escalating stakes. Just look at how these barriers start stacking up against the protagonist. We kick things off with the biological hurdle, right? The growth defect. Then we level up to the social hurdle, the critic's plans, people actually actively rooting against him. Next up is the tactical hurdle, an actual kit designed to stop him, which is just a literal physical manifestation of the opposition. And finally, we reach the legacy hurdle, the missing trophy. This highly structured escalation shows us that determination isn't just a one-and-done deal where you overcome a single obstacle. It's really about maintaining your momentum as the barriers get progressively more complex and, honestly, a lot more deeply personal. Seriously, to truly appreciate the intensity of this opposition, you just have to listen to the sheer absurdity of this reality. The first kit designed to stop Messi. His critics and competitors literally designed specific plans and a high-tech kit just to shut down one singular person. Think about the gravity of that for a second. The opposition is so terrified of his sheer determination that standard defenses just do not work anymore. They actually have to invent new, specific countermeasures. It's an incredible testament to how formidable he's become, sure, but man, it also creates an incredibly claustrophobic pressure cooker for the protagonist. And naturally, that pressure inevitably takes its toll, pushing the narrative into its absolute darkest moments. We arrive at the edge of the abyss. The psychological weight of that constant, escalating opposition, combined with the incredibly high stakes of international competition, it brings our hero right to a breaking point. This is exactly where the sheer determination we've been tracking is tested against the suffocating, paralyzing fear of total failure. The pace of the story slows way down here. It becomes tense, it feels heavy, burdened with the very real, terrifying possibility that the dream might actually just shatter right here, standing on the precipice. Let's move forward and see how this builds, because this downfall doesn't just happen overnight, it compounds.
Year 1 begins with that pure, unadulterated dream, but by year 2, the world responds with that specialized kit literally designed to stop him. In year 3, we hit the painful reality of competition with devastating losses in Rome. And finally, by year 4, the compounding weight of all these events pushes him right to the absolute edge of the abyss. Tracing this timeline is so revealing. It shows us exactly how adversity systematically wears down even the absolute strongest resolve, bringing our protagonist right to the brink. The source material marks this lowest point with some incredibly heavy language. We hear about many big losses in Rome, establishing this brutal pattern of heartbreak on the biggest possible stages. But then, the narrative introduces something even more ominous: the curse. This isn't just about losing a game anymore. No, this is a full-blown existential threat to his entire legacy. It's this creeping societal narrative whispering that, without securing that one specific missing trophy, he's never truly going to be considered the greatest. That is a profoundly heavy psychological burden to carry. Huge embarrassment. That single phrase from the source perfectly encapsulates the sheer external pressure bearing down on him. It represents the collective doubt of all those critics, the looming, massive shadow of the missing trophy, and the impending doom of a highly anticipated Wednesday match. This isn't just some standard fear of losing. It's a deep-seated fear of total, very public humiliation. We are looking at the absolute bottom of the narrative arc, a place where the obstacle seems entirely 100% insurmountable. But right when that abyss seems completely inescapable, the narrative pivots. We get the ultimate comeback. This is the exact, electrifying moment where sheer determination finally shatters the creeping shadow of the curse and the heavy history of all those previous losses. The energy completely shifts here, going from suffocating pressure straight to triumphant, undeniable action. It is the realization that the internal drive, that dream to chase we talked about at the very beginning, is ultimately so much stronger than any external limitation or public doubt could ever be. The source material actually breaks down this climactic, action-packed sequence step by step. First, all eyes are on him. The pressure is literally at its absolute peak. Second, the ball is played into the area. This is where opportunity meets preparation in the absolute heat of the moment. And third, the execution of the comeback. He pushes straight past the abyss, completely ignoring the kit designed to stop him, ignoring the curse, and he delivers precisely when it matters the most. It is kinetic, visual proof of determination absolutely conquering adversity. So, the crucial point is this. It all boils down to one undeniable truth. When you have a dream to chase, nothing can stop you. This is the core mantra of the source material, and honestly, it's the ultimate takeaway of our entire analysis today. It circles us right back to the beginning, proving that the internal scale of a dream is indeed powerful enough to shatter escalating barriers, totally engineered opposition, and even the deepest psychological abysses. It is the absolute thesis statement of sheer determination. As we step back and look at how beautifully structured this sports narrative is, it's really important to shift our focus for a second. Because, look, this explainer isn't just about analyzing an animated film about a legendary athlete. The mechanics of this story, the biological hurdles, the engineered opposition, those dark psychological abysses, and the ultimate comeback, they form a universal blueprint. It's a framework for understanding exactly how to overcome the personal obstacles in our own lives, whatever they might be. Which naturally leads us to a direct question for you to consider right now. What is your missing trophy? What is the ultimate obstacle standing in your way today? What is the curse or the Rome that you are currently facing in your own life? We all have an abyss we are staring down, right? A barrier that feels like it was specifically designed just to stop us in our tracks. Identifying it, calling it out by name, is the very first step to pushing past it. And once you've identified that obstacle, you have to weigh it against the counterforce. So, I want to leave you with this final, crucial thought. What dream are you chasing? Because as the story so brilliantly demonstrates, if the dream you are chasing is powerful enough and your determination is absolute, nothing, no manufactured kit, no physical limitation, no amount of public doubt can stop you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep chasing those dreams, and I'll see you next time.